Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Today, we're breaking down 5 proven strategies to boost your credit score fast based on how each one impacts your credit. We'll discuss how it will strengthen your credit profile, how it'll improve your borrowing power, and put you in a better position the next time you apply for financing. A lot of people get too obsessed with the number. They say, I want a 700 credit score or I want an 800 credit score. They say, how do I get my credit score up fast? But the real question is not just how do you increase the number? The real question is, how do you build a profile that lenders actually trust? Because you can have a high credit score and still get denied. So if your credit score is stopping you from buying a house, getting approved for a car, getting access to high limit credit cards, or even qualifying for business funding, or simply just getting a better interest rate, then this video is definitely for you. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first thing that you need to do to boost your credit score fast is to target your late payments. Payment history is the largest factor in your credit score because it carries so much weight. Late payments are the #1 reason that people will lose points fast. You can have a maximum of 192.5 points from this category, and I'll break this down very simply. Your FICO scores range from 300 to 850. So once a person has enough credit to actually generate a score, you generally will not see a standard FICO credit score lower than 300. That's essentially the starting point. The total scoring range between 300 and 850 is 550 points. Since payment history makes up 35% of the FICO scoring formula, 35% of 550 points equals 192.5 points. However, FICO doesn't calculate this as a fixed point bucket, so late payments don't automatically remove the same number of points from every person's credit score. But with that said, from a scoring perspective, one of the fastest ways to see a noticeable change in your credit score is by trying to reverse late payments. The main way to do this is by disputing late payments and getting them corrected, updated, or removed from your credit report. The next best thing that you can do to soften the impact of late payments is to flood your credit report with consistent on-time payments going forward. And if you want to learn exactly how to dispute late payments, I've released 3 updated videos for 2026 that walk you through the process. I recommend checking those videos out. Now, something that can help you dispute late payments but also flood your credit profile with on-time payments would be Rising. Rising is an all-in-one DIY credit repair platform that gives you access to your credit reports and your scores. It shows you what may be hurting your credit, and it helps you take action with tools like dispute templates, bureau response tracking, and the auto mail feature that lets you send disputes directly from the website or the mobile app. Rising also includes up to 24 months of rental and utility trade line back reporting. That way it can help you add positive on-time payment history for the last 2 years, which will be 24 on-time payments automatically added to your credit profile. Right now, you can access your credit report through Rising's $1 7-day trial. There will be a link in the description. There will also be a clickable link here on screen. A good rule to remember is the 11-to-1 rule. So for every late payment that you have reporting within the last 3 years, you want to build approximately 11 on-time payments in the same account category to help neutralize the negative impact. So if you had 1 late payment on, let's say, a credit card, you want roughly 11 on-time payments from a credit card account to help offset the damage. If you had 2 late payments on your credit cards, then you want around 22 on-time credit card payments reporting over time. Now, it doesn't always have to be that exact same amount, but it should be the same type of account. Just think about it like this. Credit card late payments should be countered with on-time credit card payments. Installment loan late payments should be countered with on-time installment loan payments. And just to be clear, this does not remove the late payment. However, it does help neutralize the impact of what those late payments did. The second strategy to boost your credit score fast is learning how to properly pay your credit cards. This is one of the biggest areas where people leave points on the table because utilization makes up 30% of your FICO score, which does equal 165 points of the total scoring range. A lot of people think they understand credit cards, but they don't understand how credit cards report to the bureau. bureaus. Because of that, they lose points every single month without realizing it. Most people think that the due date is the most important date on a credit card, but it's really not. The most important date is usually the statement date. Your due date is the date that your bank cares about, but your statement date is the date that the credit bureaus care about because that's when the balance will typically get reported. That reported balance will determine your utilization ratio, which is how much of your available credit you're using. For example, if you have a $1,000 credit card limit and your statement reports a $500 balance, you're reporting 50% utilization on that card. Even if you pay that balance off a few days later, the bureaus will still report 50% utilization because that's the balance that was reported on the statement date. So if you want to boost your credit score fast, you need to start managing your credit card balances before the statement date, not just before the due date. A good rule is to make sure that your balance is below 10% at least 2 to 3 days before the statement closing date. The best range for scoring purposes is usually between 1 to 9%. So here's the strategy. By the due date, pay enough to avoid interest and being late. If you don't want to pay interest, pay the previous statement balance in full by the due date. Then, before the statement date is actually closed, make sure that the current balance is reporting between 1 and 9% of your credit limit. Anything above 9%, just think about it like you're losing points. I have an entire video on strategies to hide credit card utilization. I'm gonna link that video right here if you guys wanna watch it. You want the bureaus to see a low balance, you want the scoring model to see responsible usage, and you want lenders to see that you can use credit without depending on it. Now, some people will ask, well, why not just report zero? Reporting zero is not bad, but if all your credit cards report zero, you're not showing any active revolving credit usage. Lenders like to see that you can use credit and manage it responsibly. Think about it like this. If the goal was to report a zero balance every single month, then never using credit at all would give you an 850 credit score instead of leaving you with no credit activity. The goal is not to carry debt or to pay interest. The goal is to let a small balance report between 1 and 9% to your credit report and then pay the previous statement balance in full. The third strategy is for anyone who has charge-offs on their credit report. Now, a charge-off is one of the most damaging items you can possibly have on your credit profile. When people hear the word charge-off, they already feel defeated because charge-offs have a reputation for being hard to remove. And yes, charge-offs can be difficult, but a lot of people fail to get them removed because they are disputing them the wrong way. But here's what you need to understand. A charge-off can be valid and still be inaccurate. That is a major difference. Valid means the account belongs to you, but accurate means every detail about the account is being reported and handled correctly. A lot of charge-offs may be valid accounts, but that doesn't mean the balance, the fees, the ownership, the dates, the notices, or the reporting is accurate. So if you have a charge-off, the first thing you need to do is pull your official credit reports from annualcreditreport.com. If you're a longtime subscriber of my channel, you know I mention this in almost every credit repair video because those reports contain the most details. Credit monitoring apps can be helpful for alerts, but they don't always show you everything you need to challenge an account properly. Once you have your official reports, look at the charge-offs carefully. Look at the balance. Does it show that you owe money? Does it have a zero balance? Did the balance change after the account was charged off? Were interest or fees added to the charge-off? This is where consumer protection laws and lending rules become very important. One area that may matter is the Truth in Lending Act, often called TILA or TILA. The idea is that lenders have rules around how they disclose, handle, and communicate debt. Now, if a lender fails to properly notify you, they fail to give you required information, they fail to provide clear documentation or report an inaccurate balance, that can create an issue worth challenging. Removing a charge-off can create a major score increase. In some cases, you might see a 100-point improvement depending on how damaging that charge-off was and what else is on your credit report currently. Charge-offs also hurt borrowing power even beyond the score, especially when you're trying to get a mortgage, a car loan, or installment loans. Now, with that said, I have plenty of videos that show you step-by-step how to challenge a charge-off the correct way. I'm going to link my latest charge-off removal video here, but you can also check my credit repair playlist down in the description below. The fourth strategy to boost your credit score and strengthen your credit profile is increasing your credit limits before applying for any new credit cards. This is one of the most underrated strategies because most people only think about applying for new cards, but if you grow your existing limits, that can help you in several ways. First, higher limits can lower your credit card utilization. Second, higher limits can improve your borrowing power. When new lenders review your credit report, they look at the limits that you already have. So if all of your cards have low limits, it's less likely that a new lender will jump out and give you, let's say, a $20,000 limit. Lenders will often use your current limits as a reference point. They want to see that other banks already trust you. That means if your existing limits are low, you may keep getting approved for lower limits, but if you grow your limits over time, you create a much stronger credit profile. Third, credit limit increases can signal responsible credit management. If you've had a credit card since 2018 and the limit is still $500, that can be a red flag. It may make lenders wonder why that card has never grown. Did you not use it? Did you use it poorly? Did the bank not trust you with more? Did your profile not support a higher limit? That is why you should not let year after year go by without requesting some increases. If you have a credit card and you're managing it responsibly, you should be looking for opportunities to request a credit limit increase at least once or twice a year, depending on the bank. Some banks allow soft pull credit limit increases, meaning they do not create a hard inquiry, while some banks may require a hard pull. You need to know the rules before you actually do this request. American Express, Discover, Capital One, and Citi often have soft pull credit limit increase options depending on the account and your situation. Chase may do a hard pull in some cases, so you do want to be careful and understand the process before requesting. I do have an entire video showing you how you can potentially get a soft credit limit increase pull with Chase. I'll link that video right here. American Express is known for allowing credit limit increase requests around 91 to 95 days in many cases. I also have an entire video I just made on requesting a credit limit increase with American Express. Now I can only link 5 videos, so if you don't see the video right here, just go to my YouTube channel, check the magnifying glass, and search for that video. But remember, before you request a credit limit increase, make sure that your utilization is low. You also want to make sure that your payments have been made on time and make sure that your income information is updated. The fifth strategy is understanding utilization thresholds and preparing for newer scoring models like FICO 10T. Credit scoring is becoming more detailed and lenders are getting more information. And if you do not understand how utilization threshold works, you can lose points in borrowing power without knowing why. Let's start with individual utilization. Most credit apps show you aggregate utilization, which means your total credit card balances compared to your total credit limit across all of your cards. For example, if you have $10,000 in total credit limits and $1,000 in total balances, your aggregate utilization is actually 10%. But the scoring model also looks at individual card utilization. So that means if you have one maxed out card, it can still hurt you even if your overall utilization looks decent. This is where utilization thresholds become more important to identify. If any individual credit card reports over 28.9 utilization, that can trigger a score reduction. That means if one card is reporting above that level, you may be losing points on that card, even if your total utilization is not terrible. If a card reports over 48.9 utilization, that is much worse. Many lenders will view that as risky. In fact, most lenders will treat anything above or near that range as already being maxed out because it signals that you're relying heavily on that credit line. If a credit card reports 98% utilization, that is extremely damaging. At that point, the card is basically maxed out and it can make you look desperate for credit, and it can also hurt both your score and your borrowing power. So if you're trying to pay down cards strategically, don't just throw random money at random balances. You want to attack the thresholds. First, get every card below 98% if any card is maxed out. Then get every card below 48.9%, and then get every card below 28.9%. Then, if your goal is maximum score improvement, get every card reporting between 1% and 9% before the statement cycle date. Now, let's talk about FICO 10T. FICO 10T is the newest version of the FICO scoring model, and this represents one of the biggest changes that we have seen in credit scoring in a very long time. For most of my and your adult lives, credit scoring has worked a certain way, and this is the biggest change since 1996. Now, FICO 10T came after FICO 9, which many lenders did not fully embrace because they considered that model way too consumer friendly. FICO 9 was less harsh on certain things like medical collections, pay collections, and lower balance collections. Because of that, many consumers saw their scores improve, and lenders weren't happy about that because higher scores can mean better approvals, better rates, and less justification for charging higher interest. So when FICO 10T came around, it shifted in a much more lender-friendly direction. The T in FICO 10T stands for trended data. That means that lenders are no longer only looking at a snapshot of your credit profile on the day that you apply. Instead, they can look at patterns in your credit behavior over the past 24 months. With older scoring models, if you apply for a credit card today, the lender would mainly see your current balances, your current utilization, and your current account statuses, and whatever was showing on your most recent credit report. But with FICO 10T, lenders can see more of that story. They can look at how your balances have moved over time. They can see whether your debt has been increasing or decreasing. They can see whether you are paying down your balances slowly or depending on your credit more. They can see whether utilization is consistently high or whether you are temporarily paying down your balance for 1 month. That gives lenders a much stronger way to predict how you may behave over the next 24 months. And that is why FICO 10T is so important. It's giving lenders more data to justify their decisions. So that can mean lower credit limits, fewer credit limit increases, lower approval odds, higher interest rates, or even more denials. And if your credit behavior shows risky trends over time, you actually may not get approved even with a high credit score. So just be aware that moving forward, it's not just about what your credit profile looks like today. It's about what your credit profile has been showing consistently over time, especially in the last 2 years. This means that you have to be more intentional with how you manage your credit. Now let's bring everything together. If you want to boost your credit score fast, you need to stop guessing and you need to start following a real plan. First, target your late payments. You want to pull up your reports, identify any late payments if you have them, especially for the last 3 years, and start disputing those. Second, master your statement dates. Don't just focus on the due date. The due date keeps you from being late. However, the statement date controls what balances are reported. If you want to maximize your score, pay your cards down before the statement closes and aim for 1 to 9% utilization. Third, you want to challenge charge-offs the right way. You want to pull your official reports, review the balance, ownership, fees, interest, notices, and the reporting accuracy. A charge-off can be valid but still inaccurate. If they cannot prove certain details, you may have a path to delete that account. Fourth, increase your credit limit before applying for new credit. Higher limits can improve utilization and make your profile look stronger. Request increases strategically and understand which banks use soft pulls, and do not let your account sit at the same low limit forever. Fifth, you want to understand utilization thresholds and prepare for trended data. Pay cards down in stages and aim for the best scoring range. With FICO 10T and trended data, your patterns matter even more than ever now. And here is the biggest point that I want you to understand. There is no credit report that is too bad that it cannot be improved. There is no score that is too low for you to start building. The lower your score is, the more points that are available for you to gain if you attack the right areas. But you cannot just watch a video and do nothing. Information does not change your life until you apply it. You can learn every credit strategy in the world, but if you keep paying late, if you keep maxing out your cards, if you keep ignoring your report, and you keep applying with a weak profile, then nothing is going to change. Credit repair is not just about removing negative accounts. Credit repair is about rebuilding trust. That means on-time payments, low utilization, strong limits, accurate reporting, clean trends, positive accounts, smart applications, patience, and consistency. If you do this the right way, you can put yourself in a position to qualify for better approvals, higher limits, lower interest rates, and more financial opportunities. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. So here's what I want you to do today. Go pull your credit report from annualcreditreport.com. Look for late payments, look for charge-offs if you have them, sign up for Rising, and start disputing those accounts right away. Look at your credit card statement dates, check utilization on every individual card, and look at your current limits and see where you may be eligible for increases. Then make a 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day plan. Don't overcomplicate this, just start with the biggest problem first. And this is going to be how you boost your credit score fast, by understanding the scoring system and using it strategically. If you got value from this video, then make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with somebody who may need help. And if you're serious about improving your credit, do not just save this video, take action today. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and you have a wonderful day.